Hello everyone, welcome to Options with Doug. Streaming live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Bookmap Discord and the Bookmap YouTube channel. Before I get started, I need to go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Ltd materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and options involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Here's my contact information. The best way to get in touch with me is through Discord. My name on Discord is Doug P. Also in Bookmap Discord, there's an Options-Jug chat channel. That's a great place to post questions, comments, and content related to the topics of my presentation and the topics of the channel that I'll go through in just a moment. I'm also on X, formerly known as Twitter. My name there is @DougPless. Here are the key tenets to my approach for trading. This is the basis of my approach to trading. I believe that options trades and market maker hedging activity are key drivers of price in many stocks and futures, and certainly in the large cap stocks that I follow, the Mag 7 stocks, as well as the equity index futures, like the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. And for the S&P 500, SPX is the underlying index, SPY is the ETF version of that index, and ES, the ES E-mini futures, that's a derivative of SPX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in SPX and SPY, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with ES futures. And for the NASDAQ 100, NDX is the underlying index, QQQ is the much more liquid ETF version of that index, and NQ is a derivative of NDX. And when traders buy and sell puts and calls in NDX and QQQ, market makers take the opposite side of those trades and they hedge their delta exposure with NQ futures. The focus of my presentation today is options order flow, the impact of options markets on stocks and futures, and the influence of market maker hedging flow on price action. I have a two-step process for trading, and the first is planning, and I use positional analysis. I look at how traders and market makers are positioned in the options market and how those positions change from day to day to develop a thesis regarding the expected trading range and volatility for the day, as well as a directional bias. And the second step in my process is execution. I look at real-time order flow in Bookmap and real-time market maker hedging flow in Spotgamma Hero to confirm my thesis, and for setups or entries and exits. And when I talk about setups today, I will be focusing on an underlying asset. For example, setups in the S&P 500 can be taken any number of ways with ES futures, SPY shares, SPY options, SPX options, or even ES options. Questions and comments are welcome, and I will be watching both the Options-Jug chat channel and Discord, as well as the chat and YouTube for your questions and comments. Please feel free to post. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Here's my agenda for today, Monday, April 22nd. First of all, I want to go over news items, economic data, and events coming up for the rest of the week. Then I'll go through my positional analysis from earlier today. I want to talk briefly about the dispersion trade, and that was definitely in play last week. And then I'll review some setups from earlier today, and then I'll take a look at the live market. And when I get to the live market, if anyone has any stocks they want me to take a look at, please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. All right, let's get started. First of all, news items, economic data, events. I should add earnings to that. For this week, really begin tomorrow. 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, PMI data comes out. And then at 1 p.m., there's a 2-year note auction. And then after the market closes, Tesla reports earnings. On Wednesday, durable goods orders, economic data comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And at 1 p.m., there's a 5-year note auction. And then Meta reports earnings after the market closes. And then on Thursday, the GDP report comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And there's also another note auction that's at 1 p.m. for the 7-year notes. And then Google and Microsoft report earnings after the market closes. And then on Friday, the big economic data release for the week, PCE data, comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. So big data releases this week, as well as 4 of the 7 Mag 7 stocks report earnings this week. All right, let's move on to positional analysis now. I'm going to start with the SP 500. This is the ES futures in Bookmap. And before I take a closer look at this chart, I want to step back, take a look at a higher time frame. I'm going to go to the underlying index. That is SPX. We've all seen this chart before. Rally began last year. SPX rallied up for 5 months before this correction began on April 1st. So let's go take a look at that now. So that was a 1-day chart for SPX. Now let's take a look at a 1-hour chart. This is a 30-day 1-hour chart. This is showing the top end of that green trend line. High for SPX around 52.65. April 1st, downtrend began, then began to accelerate. All right, let's take a look at the levels on this chart. First, the dashed purple lines are showing the lower and upper weekly expected move. This is based on the options market. This is based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. These lines will remain in place for the entire week. And then the lower and upper daily expected move, that's shown with the dashed light blue lines. Note that SPX is now trading above the upper daily expected move. Also based on the options market, based on the closing price for SPX from last Friday. Those lines are updated every day. I post these levels in the Options Jug chat channel every evening the day before. So again, SPX trading above the upper daily expected move. All right, so that is a 1-day chart. Now let's wrap this up with taking a look at the Spotgamma levels on this chart. The red solid lines are Spotgamma levels. These are provided to Spotgamma subscribers. They're available on a variety of trading platforms. Again, this is Thinkorswim. I'm going to point out the key daily levels. First of all, here's the put wall at 4,900. That's a strike with the largest net negative gamma that can be expected to act as support. Note that level did move lower from Friday. The next level up is 5,000. That is the absolute gamma strike. That's a strike with the largest absolute positive and negative gamma. So that's where most of the gamma-weighted open interest is concentrated. And above that is the volatility trigger that is obscured by the 0 gamma level, which is very close. So that is the volatility trigger. That is Spotgamma's proprietary volatility flip level. Below that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is negative. In a negative gamma environment, market makers have to trade with price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to enhance or increase volatility. And note, this is a very negative gamma environment. Gamma notional at the beginning of the day for SPX was quite negative. And SPX is still trading below the volatility trigger in a negative gamma environment. And just for reference, above that level, market makers' position on the gamma curve is positive. In a positive gamma environment, market makers have to trade against price to hedge their delta exposure. That tends to subdue or decrease volatility. And just above that is the call wall, CW there at 5100. That's a strike where the largest net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. Note that level did move down as I expected from last week. It had moved up to 5,500 on Friday, and given the options expiration, I expected that level to move lower, and that's exactly what it did. In this case, down to 5,100. So again, that's a strike with a large net positive gamma that can be expected to act as resistance. So the potential resistance at 5,100, potential ceiling for price, and potential floor at 4,900. All right, for SPX, volatility trigger, put wall, and call wall, all move lower. That is bearish. All right, let's take a quick look at a 1-minute chart just to get a closer look at the SPX levels in play for today. There's this key 5,000 level. Did act as resistance earlier today. Now SPX trading above that. Also the upper daily expected move. And then this 49.77 level was in play earlier today. That was noted as support in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. That is a large Gamma 4 level. All right, gap up, move down. Low of the day right around 49.70. And now SPX continues to rally. All right, let's go to Bookmap now. In Bookmap, I have my own cloud notes. So I can show SPX levels on this chart. There's that 5,000 level. That is the absolute gamma strike that was noted as resistance in the Spotgamma AM Founders Note. There's this 49.77 level noted as support. I also have SPY levels on this chart. There's the 500 absolute gamma strike put wall. So it looks like the S&P 500 has recovered the SPY 500 put wall. I also have key levels for ES on this chart. There's the upper daily expected move and the 5,050 level just above that. All right, note there is a difference in price between ES and SPX. That offset today is right around 37 points. So I'm showing SPX 5,000 at ES 5,037. That does change a little bit every day. Note that I do post the index relationships that I'm using every day. I post those in Discord. All right, so key levels earlier today. For the initial move after the cash open, this 498 level, that's SPY 498 level, continued to act as resistance. S&P 500 moved lower, 497 resistance. S&P 500 broke below the 49.77 support level, also SPY 496, and is now continuing to move higher. Again, the S&P 500 has recovered the 5,000 level and working on the SPY 500 level. All right, shifts in levels. Again, I mentioned for SPX, volatility trigger put wall and call wall moved lower. And strangely, for SPY, all levels remain unchanged. That's not the case for SPX, NDX, QQQ. So SPY kind of stands out with no levels, all levels, key daily levels unchanged. All right, let's take a look at NASDAQ. And we'll take a look at setups in just a few minutes. All right, so here's the NQ futures and Bookmap. Let's take a quick look at the underlying index charts. First of all, QQQ. Earlier today, the regular trading hours are shown with the dark shaded portion to the right. Earlier today, just after the open, 418 resistance, and then the 414 acting as support. Also this 416.31 C3 level acting as support, then resistance. This is before the cash open, support, then resistance, and now QQQ is up to the 419 level. Let's take a quick look at NDX, and then we'll get back to Bookmap. NDX. All four key daily levels for NDX did shift lower. So right now, NDX is trading still below its call wall at 17,250 and the volatility trigger at 17,220. All right, let's get back to Bookmap. Here's that 418 level resistance earlier today. And then NASDAQ traded down to the 414 level. That is also the $17,150, NQ 17,150, and also the NDX 17,000 level. So that cluster of levels acting as support. All right, so it looks like NQ is now up to its upper daily expected move. So again, I have my own cloud notes, so I can show NDX levels, QQQ levels, as well as key levels for NQ, like the upper daily expected move and also the big round numbers, the zeros and the 50s. All right, we'll talk about setups in a few minutes. So again, for NDX, all four key daily levels shifted lower. That is bearish. And for QQQ, the volatility trigger, put wall, and call wall all shifted lower. That's also bearish. All right, let's take a look at Gamma Notional to see how market makers were positioned in the options market at the beginning of the day, and then we'll get to some setups. So this is Gamma Notional. Market makers position on the Gamma curve at the beginning of the day for the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. Note all these numbers are negative. They're quite negative. And they did shift higher from Friday. That is to be expected after options expiration. Some of that Gamma did expire on Friday. So they're still quite negative, but slightly less negative than on Friday. Again, to be expected after expiration. All right, let's see what this means. I'm going to take a look at the Vanna model. This will give us a graphical representation of what I'm talking about. So what this chart is showing is Delta Notional, market makers Delta Notional on the vertical axis for SPX, spot price of SPX on the horizontal axis. So this curve is a typical of a negative Gamma environment. All right, there are two curves on this chart actually. So the first light gray curve shows how market makers Delta Notional may change with changes in price only. And the purple curve shows how market makers Delta Notional may change with changes in price and implied volatility. And that change in Delta Notional with the change in implied volatility is the Vanna effect. Vanna is a second order Greek. All right, let's take a look at some prices. So we know the low of the day was right around 49.70. Let's see if we can find that on this chart. So that's right around here. So what this chart is showing, as price is increasing, market makers' delta notional is decreasing. So they can buy back short futures. This is showing the difference between the delta notional to be expected with changes in price only and delta notional to be expected with changes when you add in implied volatility. I always like to take a look at this, especially in a negative gamma environment. So this is adding fuel to any move higher. Let's take a quick look at, give me just a minute. Sorry, just a moment. Let's take a look at VIX. So we know that price has been rallying, moving higher. Let's take a look at VIX as a proxy for implied volatility. Zoom in on this chart, dark shaded portion, regular trading hours. VIX has been dropping steadily since about 11:15. And we'll see that's about when this rally began. So VIX dropping. So we know that price is increasing, implied volatility is dropping, leading us to this Vanna model, the purple curve, put Vanna rally contributing to this move higher. All right, so based on this, thesis number one, shifts lower in levels, that is bearish. Thesis number two, put Vanna rally, price starts to increase. Some of the put delta has expired from last week. Put gamma, put delta expired from last week. Market is starting to rally, and now market makers can buy back short futures. All right, so it looks like initially thesis number one was in play, and now the main thesis number two, put Vanna rally. Note the VIX started to shift sharply lower right around 11:15. That's when this rally began. All right, let's take a look at some setups now. Oh, first of all, I want to talk about the dispersion trade. This was going on last week, not really in play for today. The bearish dispersion trade that I want to talk about. This, for you Spotgamma subscribers, Spotgamma did cover this in detail in the PM Founders Note last Friday. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I don't know if Anurag is here. He brought this question up yesterday. And let's take a look at, go to Hero. So last week, what was happening? Let's take a look at this Mag 7 signal. Both puts and calls were falling. What this is indicating is that large traders with enough money to move the market were buying risk reversals. They were selling calls and buying puts. So that was in the Mag 7 stocks, single stocks. And to, I guess for whatever reason, to hedge themselves, they were buying long index calls. So Anurag had asked about the stark difference in the hero signals between Mag 7, which were both moving down the put and call line, and the NASDAQ signal moving higher. Traders are buying index calls. In the example that Spotgamma provided, they were showing that traders were buying SPX calls while they were buying that risk reversal in Mag 7 stocks. All right, so that's the dispersion trade. Anurag, I hope you're here, and I hope you, I assume you're a Spotgamma subscriber. Hope you saw that more detailed explanation in the PM Founders Note. So that was going on last week. All right, let's take a look at today. So let's move on from positional analysis now to some setups. I'm going to start with the SP 500. I want to take a look and see what options traders have been doing today. So this is everything that we've looked at so far, other than the Bookmap, is based on static data. Spotgamma takes open interest data that's updated once a day, sometime overnight. They apply their proprietary algorithms to come up with levels. The put wall, call wall, absolute gamma strike, volatility trigger. And those levels do change every day, as I have shown. All right, now let's move on to execution, real-time data now. I'm going to start with, again, looking at what options traders are doing. And this is the HIRO signal, Hedging Impact Real-Time Options, HIRO. This is available to Spotgamma subscribers. Again, starting with the SP 500, what this chart is showing is options trades and market maker hedging activity for a combined signal of SPX, SPY, XSP, and ES futures, all into one combined signal. So if you trade any form of the SP 500, this is the signal that you want to take a look at. The lines on this chart, the white line is price for SPX, the purple line is the HIRO signal, and a falling HIRO signal indicates traders are taking negative delta positions. That means they're buying puts and or selling calls. A rising HIRO signal means they're taking positive delta options positions. They're buying calls and or selling puts. All right, let's zoom in on this chart. I'm going to zoom in. So let's take a look at a couple setups. So first of all, this move higher, first 20 minutes, was really a head fake. Right around 9:50, options traders started taking negative delta positions. And the S&P 500 chopped around and started to move lower about 20-25 minutes later, setting up a great divergent short this morning. All right, so let's go take a look at that in Bookmap. And then we'll take a look at this reversal higher in just a minute. ES. All right, so, looking here in hindsight, this move lower is fairly small compared to the move higher later on today. Let's take a look at this. It was a nice divergent setup in the morning. All right, so remember right around 9:50, options traders started taking negative delta positions, and price chopped around the 498 level. Started to make lower highs as the HIRO signal reversed lower. And then price broke below VWAP, shown by the light blue line. Then VWAP became resistance. The volume dots in Bookmap are showing market buy minus sell. Green volume dots indicate there are more buyers than sellers. Magenta dots indicate more sellers than buyers. So as traders were taking negative delta positions, price broke below VWAP. Aggressive sellers came in. Note the falling cumulative volume delta. All right, that is the setup, the short setup earlier this morning. Again, pretty small in comparison compared to the move higher. So let's take a look at that. So note this high liquidity at 5,005. Rejecting price. Acting as support. Aggressive sellers on the way down, magenta volume dots. Aggressive buyers start to come in. Note the rising light blue line. That's showing large traders buying that move down with iceberg orders. They use iceberg orders to hide their size. Here, this is shown, iceberg orders shown by the on-chart indicator. I'm not sure why the iceberg orders are not shown on the on-chart indicator for this portion of the subchart indicator moving higher. Let's go back and take a look at Hero again, see what options traders were doing. So we know VIX started to reverse higher right around 11:15. And the Hero signal makes an equal low and then starts to move higher as traders started taking positive delta positions. And that really continues. And again, S&P 500 has recovered the SPX 5,000 level as well as the SPY 500 level and continues to move higher. All right, that's the S&P 500. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Similar pattern. Just reading order flow here. Here's the cash open, 9:30. Quick move higher, aggressive buyers. And that reverses lower. Aggressive sellers start to come in, shown by the magenta volume dots. Cumulative volume delta shifts lower. Sell stop orders shown by the falling yellow line, also fueling the move lower. Down to this cluster of levels, again the QQQ 414 level. Notice price is moving down, large traders are buying this, buying the move down, fading that move with iceberg orders. Again, they use to hide their size. Those are buy iceberg orders. Sellers are exhausted. Aggressive buyers start to come in. Large traders continue to buy with iceberg orders. And NASDAQ now up to the NDX 250 absolute gamma strike call wall. All right, let's go take a look at Hero, see what options traders are doing. All right, so for NASDAQ, I like to take a look at the MAG 7 signal. All right, so this has been bullish all day. Let me show you what this is. This is a combined signal for the stocks known as the Magnificent Seven. Options trades, market maker hedging activity for Apple, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, NVIDIA, Tesla, all into one combined signal. These stocks make up a very large component of the NASDAQ 100. And this is what I use when I'm trading the NASDAQ. All right, I'm going to zoom in on the morning. All right, so here's just like the S&P 500, quick move up, about 20 minutes. Hero signal reverses lower. Traders start taking negative delta positions. NASDAQ moves lower. All right, I've already talked about the move lower in Bookmap. Here are the clear signs, volume dots, stop orders. NASDAQ finds support right around 11:15. That cluster of levels. Let's go back to Hero now. Zoom back out. So nice divergence set up. Mag 7 Hero signal starts to move lower right around 10:25. Setting up this divergence long as the NASDAQ moved down to that cluster of levels again. So dip buyers definitely in here in the Mag 7 stocks. Let's see what they're doing. So they're selling puts and buying calls. I'm going to have to jump back. All right, so this is the S&P 500. This is what the S&P 500 portion of the dispersion trade looks like. Buying index calls, put signal fairly flat. All right, let's go back to Mag 7. So in the Mag 7, in this case, they're also taking bullish positions. Rising blue line indicates traders are selling puts, taking advantage of higher implied volatility, and they're also buying calls. So this is the opposite of that bearish risk reversal. In this case, they are selling calls, selling puts and buying calls. So taking that other, the flip side of that risk reversal. And this is definitely driving NASDAQ higher. All right, let's take a look at some stocks. There were some good setups this morning. First one I want to take a look at is AMD. I'm going to shift back to the total signal here. Just make this a little bit easier to look at. I'm going to have to jump back. Focusing on the morning. This is when I do most of my trading. So here in AMD, we see that 150 is the key gamma strike that did act as resistance. Initially, the hero signal was pretty flat, then starts to move lower right around 9:45, and it took about 10 minutes for AMD to reverse lower at the 150 key gamma strike, setting up a very nice divergent short in AMD in the morning session. So let's go take a look at Bookmap. Let's go to AMD. Sorry, having a little bit of difficulty with my pen tool. Let's go to AMD. All right, here's the reversal at the 150 key gamma strike. Let's zoom in on that. Now it looks like AMD has recovered, trying to make it back up to that 150 level. All right, so when I zoom in, you can see that there was some time to set up the short. So traders started taking negative delta positions about 10 minutes later. AMD reverses lower at just below the 150 key gamma strike. Classic absorption there at that level. This is the heat map and Bookmap showing a history of the limit orders in the order book. And that liquidity typically comes in at the cash open and remains there until those are, in this case, limit sold orders. They'll typically remain in the order book until they're filled. And there was absorption just below that level. AMD reversed lower as traders were taking negative delta positions. All right, let's move on. Next is Amazon. All right, another head fake move lower, move higher in the morning. First 20 minutes, maybe 10, 20 minutes. Aggressive buyers come in, and then Amazon reverses sharply lower. Now trying to recover that 178 level again. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Amazon. Flow alert does come in, and that might have been misleading, but quickly the hero signal levels off, moves lower, traders taking negative delta positions, and price moves lower. All right, let's take a look at Meta now. All right, I did post this setup in Discord. This was a very clear signal. Meta making a series of lower highs, then reverses right around VWAP, just below this 490 level. Let's see what options traders are doing. Let's go to Meta. Let's zoom in on this. So when I'm looking for a reversal in Hero, I'm looking at or considering two different circumstances. So in this case, let's say case one, full alert, and then the hero signal. This is indicating a shift from a significant shift from positive delta to negative delta, or vice versa. So that's what the flow alert is showing. So this comes in a little bit before the signal actually shifts lower. So this is case one for a shift in hero. Flow alert, and then the hero signal shifts lower. Otherwise, I would be looking for a lower high, lower highs, lower lows, before assuming that hero had shifted. But in this case, I see the flow alert and then the sharp move lower, indicating traders were now taking negative delta options positions. And that happens just before 9:50. Let's go back to Bookmap. And this is right at 9:50. Lower high, reversal at VWAP, Meta moves lower, good for about a 15-point move lower. And again, I thought this was pretty clear. I did post it in Discord. All right, now Meta trying to recover that 490 level. Back above VWAP. Let's go take a look at Hero. Zoom out. A lot of aggressive buyers coming in. right around 10:30. That moves back down. So more clear signal starting around 11:20. Traders taking positive delta positions. Meta now recovering. So I thought this move lower in Meta really kind of led the market lower in these morning short setups. All right, next, Tesla. Let's zoom in on this. Very clear divergent short. Traders were taking negative delta options positions from the open. Initially, traders are buying the dip in Tesla, and then that reverses lower just before 10 a.m. as the pressure from these options trades helps to move Tesla lower. Let's take a look at Bookmap. Go to Tesla. All right, quick move higher in the morning. Aggressive buyers. Then options traders start to have more influence on price as they were taking negative delta positions, and Tesla reverses lower. All right, so WRB, there you go. There's Tesla. Let's go take a look and see what options traders are doing now. All right, so they started taking positive delta positions around 11 a.m. and then price responded higher about 30 minutes later. All right, let's take a look, one last look at a stock. I want to take a look at coin. All right, so the Spotgamma levels have definitely been in play on coin recently. Here's the 227.50 hedge wall, acting as resistance more or less. Price did not quite make it up to that level. So first of all, in the morning, there was a long, note the flow alert comes in just a couple of minutes after the cash open. Traders taking positive delta positions, and they take their foot off the gas as coin reaches that up to that 227.50 hedge wall. They start taking negative delta positions and coin moves lower. Let's go take a look at Bookmap. Go to coin. Let's zoom in on this. Quick move higher, pull back, right to point of control, right at the opening print. Point of control. Price moves higher. Finding resistance right at 227, just below the 227.50 hedge wall. And that is options traders taking their foot off the gas. They start to take negative delta positions. Price moves lower. All right, note this magenta line. This is the correlation tracker showing the correlation of coin with the Bitcoin futures. All right, let's zoom out. All right, so at note around 11:30, Coinbase starts to respond as Bitcoin futures start to move higher. Let's see what options traders are doing. All right, so the hero signal is pretty flat. After that move lower, looks like Coinbase may be responding to that move higher in Bitcoin futures. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Please let me know and I'll be glad to do that. Note CVD, cumulative volume delta, moving higher. That's shown by all the green volume dots. A lot of magenta volume dots on the move down. CVD initially moves up, flattens out, now moving higher again. And Katinga, hello, welcome, and you're welcome. All right, anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? All right, let's take a look at, let's go back to the index. First of all, the S&P 500 continues to move higher. Check NASDAQ. So NASDAQ, NDX, 250, absolute gamma strike call wall recovered. And the QQQ call wall is quite a much higher at 450. And the QQQ 420 level is in this cluster right here. Let's take a look at Hero, see what options traders are doing in the Mag 7. So they continue to take positive delta positions. Again, that's been going on all day, with the exception of this little bit of consolidation here. Traders continue to take positive delta positions. Let's zoom out and see if there are any recent alerts. Most recent alerts, SPY, S&P 500 futures, ES. Check Meta, flow alert coming in. Let's zoom in on this. All right, so the hero signal was shifting down. Now it looks like it's shifting higher again. All right, does anyone have any stocks they want me to take a look at? Let me scan some charts here on another screen, see if I see anything. All right, so it looks like Tesla now is making a lower high. Let's see what options traders are doing. Hero signal leveling off. Let's take a look at Tesla. Just to know, when I'm trading, I'm looking at multiple screens at the same time. Of course, I can only present on one screen. So I have to keep jumping back and forth between Bookmap and Hero. When I'm trading, I'm using three main screens. I have Hero on one screen, Bookmap on my main screen in the middle, and then my trading platform on the right. So I'm looking at all screens at the same time, putting together a plan for how I want to trade something, trade a stock or index future. All right, so let's go back and take a look at Hero for Tesla. Looks like the Hero signal may be turning up. Yeah, it is. Separate out puts and calls. So traders are buying puts. That's shown by the negative notional value on the blue line here. Sorry about that. Gonna have to jump back. Tesla. All right, so right now both the orange line and the blue line are pretty flat. So it looks like most recently call buyers were driving price higher, shown by the rising orange line. Now they've taken the foot off the gas, Tesla moving lower. Let's go back to maybe a potential short. Tesla has broken this trend line. Maybe I'd want to see more confirmation with Hero. Let's go back to the total signal. I'm going to jump back to Tesla. Zoom in on it a bit. All right, so this Hero signal is making lower highs. All right, let me see if I see anything else. All right, looks like coin may be breaking lower as well. Let's check that. All right, so remember, we saw this before. The Hero signal was flat. Options traders not driving price higher. Let's go to coin. First of all, let's take a look at Bitcoin futures. All right, Bitcoin futures still making higher highs, maybe turning lower. Let's take a look at coin. Zoom on this just a bit. So this is showing a slight drop lower in Bitcoin futures. So it looks like coin made it. Oops. Coin made it up to 226. That's where this large buy orders executed before the reversal lower. Let's go back to Hero. Now zooming in on this, it looks like the Hero signal is starting to rise again. All right, so I'd be looking for a reaction up around this level again. All right, everyone, my time is up. I want to thank you very much for watching. Everyone have a great afternoon. Remember, tomorrow, PMI data, 2-year note auction, Tesla reports earnings. Then on Wednesday, durable goods, 5-year note auction. And then we'll talk about that, and then Meta reports after the market closes on Wednesday. All right, everyone, have a great afternoon. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.